Infinite Jest by David Foster Wallace. Page 386. Though can any guru be held to a standard of like 100% exemption from the human pains of stunted desire? No, not 100%, regardless of level of transcendence or diet. Lyle, down in the dark Interdependence Day weight room, sometimes recalls an ETA player from several years back whose first name was Marlin and whose last name Lyle never, to his knowledge, learned. The thing about this Marlin was that he was always wet, arms purling, t-shirt darkly V'd, face and forehead ever gleaming. Oren's Academy doubles partner. It had had a lemony low-cal taste. The boy's omni-wetness. It wasn't exactly sweat, because you could lick off the forehead and more beads instantly replaced what you'd taken. None of real sweat's frustratingly gradual accretion. The kid was always in the shower, always doing his best to stay clean. There were powders and pills and electrical appliques, and still this Marlin dripped and shone. The kid wrote accomplished juvenile verses about the dry, clean boy inside, struggling to break the soggy surface. He shared extensively with Lyle. He confessed to Lyle one night, in the quiet weight room, that he'd gone in for high-level athletics, mostly to have an excuse of some sort for being as wet as he was. It always looked like Marlin had been rained on, but it wasn't rain. It was like Marlin hadn't been dry since the womb. It's like he leaked. It had been a tormenting, but also, in certain ways, halcyon few years in the past, or tormentingly unspecific hope in the air. Lyle had told this boy everything he had to tell. It's raining tonight, though, as so often happens in autumn below the great concavity. PM. Snow has given way to rain. Outside the weight room's high windows, a mean wind sweeps curtains of rain this way and that, and the windows shudder and drool. The sky is a mess. Thunder and lightning happen at the same time. The copper beach outside creaks and groans. Lightning claws the sky, briefly illuminating Lyle, seated lotus in spandex on the towel dispenser, leaning forward to accept what is offered in the dark weight room. The idle resistance machines look insectile in the lightning's brief light. The answer down there at night in a locked, empty weight room is that the nighttime weight room is rarely empty. The PM custodians, Kenkel and Brandt, do lock it up, but the door can be dickied by even the clumsiest insertion of an ETA meal cart between latch and jamb. The kitchen crew always wonders why so many meal cart edges always look ravaged. Though the idle machines are scary and the room smells somehow worse in the dark, they come most at night. The ETAs who are on to Lyle. They hit the saunas out by the cement stairs until they've got enough incentive on their skin. Then they lurk, pearled and shiny in towels, by the weight room door, waiting to enter one by one. Sometimes several ETAs dripping in towels, not speaking, some pretending to have other business down there. Lurking in the eye-averted attitudes of like patients in the waiting room of an impotence clinic or shrink. They have to be real quiet, and the lights stay off. It's like the administration will turn a blind eye as long as you make it plausible to do so. From the dining hall, whose east wall of windows faces Comad, you can hear very muffled laughter and kibitzing, and the occasional scream from Mario's interdependent puppet thing. A quiet, slow stream of yellow-slickered, wet-shoed migrations, back and forth, between West House and the weight room. People know the slow parts, the times to duck out and go on very briefly down to Lyle to confer. They dicky the lock and go in, one by one, in towels. Proffer beaded flesh, confront the sorts of issues reserved for nighttime's gurutical tete-a-tete, whispers made echoless by rubberized floors and much damp laundry. Sometimes Lyle will listen and shrug and smile and say, "The world is very old," or some such general remark, and decline to say much else. But it's the way he listens, somehow, that keeps the saunas full. Lightning claws the eastern sky, And it's neat in the weight room's dark, because Lyle is in a slightly different position and forward angle each time he's illuminated through the window, up over the grip, wrist, forearm machines to his left. So it looks like there are different Lyles at different fulgurant moments. Lamont Chew, glabrous and high gloss, in a white towel and wristwatch, haltingly confesses to an increasingly crippling obsession with tennis fame. He wants to get to the show so bad it feels like it's eating him alive. To have his picture in shiny magazines, to be a wunderkind, to have guys in blue ISPN blazers describe his every on-court move and mood in hushed broadcast cliches, to have little patches with broadcast names sewn onto his clothes, to be soft-profiled, to get compared to M. Chang, lately expired, to get called the next great yellow U.S. hope. Let's not even talk about video magazines or the grid. He confesses it to Lyle. He wants the hype. He wants it. Sometimes he'll pretend a glowing up at net action shot he's clipping out of a shiny magazine is of him, Lamont Chew. But then he finds he can't eat or sleep or sometimes even pee. So horribly does he envy the adults in the show, who get to have up-at-net action shots of themselves in magazines. Sometimes, he says lately, he won't take risks in tournament matches, even when risks are okay, or even called for, because he finds he's too scared of losing and hurting his chances for the show and hype and fame down the road. A couple times this year, the cold, clenched fear of losing has itself made him lose, he believes. He's starting to fear that rabid ambition has more than one blade, maybe. He's ashamed of his secret hunger for hype in an academy that regards hype and the seduction of hype as the great Mephistophelian pitfall and hazard of talent. A lot of these are his own terms. He feels himself in a dark world, inside, ashamed, lost, locked in. Lamont Chew is 11 and hits with two hands off both sides. He doesn't mention the eschaton or having been punched in the stomach. The obsession with future tense fame makes all else pale. His wrists are so thin, he wears his watch halfway up his forearm, which looks sort of gladiatorial. Lyle has a way of sucking on the insides of his cheeks as he listens. Plates of old ridged muscle emerge and subside as he shifts his weight slightly on the raised towel dispenser. The dispenser is at about shoulder level for someone like Chew. Like all good listeners, he has a way of attending that is at once intense and assuasive. Supplicant feels both nakedly revealed and sheltered somehow from all possible judgment. It's like he's working as hard as you. You, both of you, briefly feel unalone. Lyle will suck in first one side's cheek, then the other. You have to burn your photograph in a magazine. I'm afraid so. Why again exactly now? I guess to be felt about as I feel about those players and their pictures in magazines. Why? Why? I guess to give my life some sort of meaning, Lyle. And how would this do this again? Lyle, I don't know. I do not know. It just does, would. Why else would I burn like this, clip secret pictures, not take risks, not sleep or pee? You feel these men with their photographs in magazines care deeply about having their photographs in magazines? Derive immense meaning? I do. They must, I would. Else, why would I burn like this to feel as they feel? The meaning they feel, you mean, from the fame. Lyle, don't they? Lyle sucks his cheeks. It's not like he's condescending or stringing you along. He's thinking as hard as you. It's like he's you in the top of a clean pond. It's part of the attention. One side of his cheeks almost caves in, thinking, Lamont, perhaps they did at first. The first photograph, the first magazine, the gratified surge, the seeing themselves as others see them, the hagiography of image, perhaps the first time, enjoyment after that. Do you trust me? Trust me, they do not feel what you burn for. After the first surge, they care only that their photographs seem awkward or unflattering or untrue, or that their privacy, this thing you burn to escape, what they call their privacy, is being violated. Something changes. After the first photograph has been in a magazine, the famous men do not enjoy their photographs in magazines so much as they fear that their photographs will cease to appear in magazines. They are trapped, just as you are. Is this supposed to be good news? This is awful news. Lamont, are you willing to listen to a remark about what is true? Okie dokie. The truth will set you free, but not until it is finished with you. Maybe I ought to be getting back. Lamont, the world is very old. You have been snared by something untrue. You are deluded. But this is good news. You have been snared by the delusion that envy has a reciprocal. You assume that there is a flip side to your painful envy of Michael Chang, namely, Michael Chang's enjoyable feeling of being envied by Lamont Chu. No such animal. Animal? You burn with hunger for food that does not exist. This is good news. It is the truth. To be envied, admired is not a feeling, nor is fame a feeling. There are feelings associated with fame, but few of them are any more enjoyable than the feelings associated with envy of fame. The burning doesn't go away? What fire dies when you feed it? It is not fame itself. They wish to deny you here. Trust me, there is much fear in fame, terrible and heavy fear to be pulled and held, carried. Perhaps they want only to keep it off you until you weigh enough to pull it toward yourself. Would I sound ungrateful if I said this doesn't make me feel very much better at all? Lamont, the truth is that the world is incredibly, unbelievably old. You suffer with the stunted desire caused by one of its oldest lies. Do not believe the photographs. Fame is not the exit from any cage. So, I'm stuck in the cage from either side. Fame or tortured envy of fame? There's no way out? You might consider how escape from a cage must surely require, foremost, awareness of the fact of the cage. And I believe I see a drop on your temple, right there, etc. The thunders died down to a mutter, and the window spatters gone random, and the post-storm sad. An ETA female students wear 2 different towels, coming in. A breathless senior who can barely perspire at all is troubled, whenever she has lunch with her fiancé, by the persistent whine of a mosquito that she can't see and no one else can hear. Summer and winter indoors are al fresco, but only at lunch and only with her fiancé. Remarks or advice are not always the point. Sometimes suffering's point is almost crying out in a high-pitched whine to be heard. As fitness gurus go, Lyle is results-oriented and can-do. 10-year-old Ken Plott, whose parents are Seventh-day Adventists, isn't yet old enough to masturbate, but he hears quite a lot about it, not surprisingly from his adolescent peers in rather lush detail, masturbation, and is worried about what sorts of homemade, tight, potentially wicked and soul-sapping pornographic cartridges will run through his psychic projector as he masturbates. when he eventually can masturbate and worries about whether different sorts of fantasies, scenes, and combinations herald different sorts of psychic dysfunction or turpitude, and wants to get a good jump on worrying about it. The sounds of the dining hall's gala are more frequent and convulsive without the sound of rain. Lyle tells Blot not to let the weight he would pull to himself exceed his own personal weight. Up to the left, the storm cloud's stranglers run like ink in water between the window and the risen moon. Mario Incandenza's presidential puppet is just about to inaugurate subsidized time. 16B's Anton Doucette's been driven to Lyle, he says, by an increasing self-consciousness about the big, round, dark-raised mole on his upper lip, just under his left nostril. It's only a mole, but looks pretty dire. Nasally. People who first meet him are always pulling him off to the side and handing him a Kleenex. Doucette lately wishes either the mole were gone or he were gone. Even if people don't stare at the mole, it's like they're intentionally not staring at it. Doucette pounds himself in the chest and thighs, supposedly in frustration. He just cannot come to terms with how it must look. It's getting worse as puberty intensifies. The anxiety. Then, in a vicious cycle, the anxiety prompts the nervous tick on his face's right side. He's starting to suspect that some upperclassmen are referring to him behind his back as Anton Booger Doucette. It's like he's frozen on this anxiety, unable to move on to more advanced anxieties. He can't see any way past this. The pounding is more a sign of intense unconscious self-hatred, though. Lyle knows. Doucette grimaces and says he's starting to want to play tennis with his hand over his nose and upper lip, but he has a two-handed backhand, and it's too late to switch, and there's no way they're going to let him switch to one hand just for aesthetic reasons. Lyle sends Anton Doucette packing off with directions to come on back with Mario Incandenza the minute the I-Day Gala lets out. Mario gets a fair number of aesthetic self-conscious referrals from Lyle. No type or rank of guru is above delegating. It's like a law. Doucette says it's like he's stuck. It's becoming all he thinks about. This is on his way out. His back's additional moles form no outline or shape. Lyle pops the tab to a CFDC. Mario tends to bring down most evenings about supper time. In between door dickyings and visits, Lyle does little isometric neck stretches for the tension.